You tell us that you're gonna be, was there just here?
No, there are people here. So I don't know if it was about. Yeah, and then when I went out, of theater, it wasn't in the week, so I had. And then I had one. Two. No one heard that.
And we can. You're.
You're even a little bit. All right. The room. Well, since y'all making it out today, it is definitely a day where someone decided to stay today. I'm glad to see y'all here. So welcome y'all, and it's your Tuesday team meeting, so let's kick it off. We got first up. Giveaway. All right. If you were here ahead of time, Emmy has something for you today.
Right. Promise we did double entries for anyone that came in honest to goodness business card.
I got a business card. TJ Garza.
Keep going hard. Thank you for being here.
And I'm gonna just scan this code if I ever need anything, right? Yep, there you go. All right, congratulations, DJ. All right, well, being here is the deal, so we appreciate you being here. All right, moment of gratitude. This is where we talk a little bit about what we're grateful for. And with a little bit of feedback from our ALC, we want to make this as impactful as possible. And so being grateful is sometimes something that we don't know to share and what to share, right? So what I'd like to say is, I'm thankful to see faces today. I'm thankful to see people who are taking advantage of an opportunity to go out and to make a difference in their community, to make a difference in their families, make a difference in their life. So that's what I'm grateful for today. Anybody else grateful for something? There we go. Francis grateful. There you go, brother.
Mainly just the conversations that you would walk around this office and talk to anybody and have an open conversation about anything, whether it's advice, whether it was your weekend, whether it was it's real estate, doesn't matter. And honestly, from other like offices, I talked with friends from somewhere else, and just talking with friends and family who are in a different job and business, they don't have that where they work. So that's a major difference in how we can all approach our businesses, because it just feels better on the daily. You can go somewhere where you enjoy working, you enjoy the people around you.
Yeah, there you go, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate the community. Thank you. Thank you. That's the important part, why we all show up. Sometimes has less to do with the money we could make, and sometimes it's just about being able to show up and know that somebody else is having a similar problem, and you can share it with them, right? You're not in this alone, so don't be alone. You aren't homeless. You have a place here, so show up and you're gonna be around people who are doing something that's gonna help you, right? All right, anybody else for gratitude on Tuesday's Gratitude Tuesday? Oh, Stella, tell me.
I had it on Sunday and I got to the listing, which was Sean's listing, Sean Corby, and it had a super lockbox on it and I didn't have a key yet. So I was very grateful that he could make it possible to get there and open the lockbox for me and let me in the listing for the open house in 2 hours. So I'm really grateful for your help and your support. So thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you, Courtney. That's awesome. All right, guys, we're gonna jump in. What do we have up next, Sean? All right, so birthday. Today is Mark's birthday, and he decided, I don't know who gave him permission, to take the day off and spend it with his wife. So we are not gonna sing happy birthday today here. If you get a chance today, reach out to Mark and just tell him happy birthday. If not, we're definitely gonna, he's not getting away from me singing to him.
Yeah.
He is not, no.
I think that we should.
Yep. Have like a Android. Yeah.
They don't matter too.
Yeah. Got it. I got it.
He doesn't answer, you will have for a second call, or he'll answer for us.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I don't know if I'm doing the video, maybe that's. Way older than I am. All right, here we go, on three. 1, 2, 3. Almost perfect too, I'm telling you. All right, well, thank you. Mark has now been, now we don't have to sing to him, and he didn't have to give you for that. Good. Mark was grateful enough or gracious enough to drop off some bagels, we had some coffee. What else do we have back there? Cream cheese for the bagels. Yeah, however you want it. But yeah, we're grateful to be in business with Mark and appreciate all he does for us. So awesome. Next up. All right. Real quick on career visioning. If you've ever felt stuck in your business, you personally, if you've ever felt like maybe you don't like some of the things you're doing, maybe you do like some of the things you're doing, maybe you want or need more leverage. And maybe sometimes you just don't know what the next choice is. Patrick is going to be teaching us on career vision, and I think this is one of those classes that if you are going to do anything in the next couple of months, this is the one you want to do. If you're not even thinking about hiring any of you guys, this is one of those, even if you're not thinking that, this is one of those things to help you get into alignment in your own business, right? Help you put some clarity into what it is that you want to build. How many of you just want to be a real estate agent? And that's not a bad thing. Some of you might just want to be a real estate agent, but not in this group. How many of you want to be business owners? There we go. I like what we're talking about, right? So to be a business owner, right, is an opportunity to get involved in this, see where it's working, see how you can vision out your career and what you can do. He's also teaching, is he teaching it that same day? She's not here. I think there's a 30-60-90 course as well, but I'll get confirmed on that. But if you haven't already thought about this, guys, this is probably the one thing I think that we're doing in the next quarter that is business changing, that offers you an opportunity. So, is there a cost for it? And do you know the cost for career visioning?
They don't have it.
Because they haven't picked a spot, right? That's it. We're looking for a spot depending on the size. So I'll get you guys that information. I'll get you guys that information before you guys get out of here. All right, next up. Tax Summit Survey. Services. I can read, I promise. Who's teaching this?
Presented through NAR, and so it's been a weekly, kind of like summit, so they're doing like a weekly class every week. I think it started on February, February 12th, it's March. So it's Wednesdays, and then it goes on to like the next quarter. So you kind of, it'll be the registration page where it's only $59.
Yeah, it's $59. I didn't know anything about this, y'all, but $59. And sessions include tax tips for new agents, keep more of your paycheck, tax advantages for agents investing in real estate, and tax time simplified updates to Realtor 2025. That's awesome, guys. Check it out if you are questioning what your taxes are going to look like, or if as a new agent, you're not exactly sure how to manage where your taxes are. That's a good idea. Pay your taxes, it's always a good thing. Hey, Minnesota Home and Auto. I said last week, you'd see this a little bit more. You will see this a little bit more. I owe a couple of you a phone call, at least know you, on Minnesota Home and Auto on getting involved. If you haven't been reached out to yet, you had to do a minimum of 8 buy-side transactions in order to have an opportunity in this. To be a part of it, you can still earn in, the shares are still available or will be available as your business grows. But why I wanted to bring this up is if you haven't had an opportunity and are still paying exorbitant insurance, let us go ahead and quote you. Let us see if there's a value. Some of us have already done it and found some value. Some of us did it and we didn't find any savings for you, for that person. So just give yourself an opportunity. This is a great place for you to potentially save some money. And most importantly is also to save your client some money through the process of home buying. The number one time a person makes a switch, I could talk, right? A switch with their insurance is when they're buying, which would make sense. So have that conversation because that gives you another touch point. Oh, look at this. I get to talk with my friend Jaleesa today. How many of you know Jaleesa and you don't count Isaac? All right. There are a few of you that know Jaleesa here, and Jaleesa's on today because Jaleesa, tell us a little bit about what position you've taken this year.
Hey, everybody. Super excited to be invited to join the meeting today. I am humbled to say that I am this year's NAR of Twin Cities chapter president, which is pretty exciting. And I have to also highlight that KW definitely represents. You've got two past presidents in the room there at the moment as well.
We do. So, let's just assume, Jaleesa, that some of the people in here have no idea what NAHREP is.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what NAHREP is.
Yes, absolutely. So NAHREP stands for the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. And I will say that the name might be a little deceiving. You do not need to be Hispanic to be part of NAHREP.
Yeah.
You can say that from experience, right? However, the purpose of this group is to advance Hispanic wealth. And so I do want to invite any of you who are looking for just very good, solid information to visit the National NAHREP website. There are 3 really good pieces of information you'll find there. There's a glossary of words. So if anyone's looking just for some high level, something to add to your Duolingo, like this is a great glossary to start with for real estate. But in addition to that, there's the Hispanic Wealth Report and the Hispanic Homeowner Report. Both of those are what's great about these reports is they're every year. It's an independent company that's doing these, but essentially what they're doing is building a business, what's the word I'm looking for? Argument as to why it makes sense to pay attention to Hispanics when building your business. It's a demographic that year over year is growing in Hispanic in home ownership in general. And so if you are looking to build your business, this is a demographic you have to pay attention to. So NAHREP is a great source of information. It's a great place to go just to learn in general and become a better agent in general. That's really the goal. One thing that I do like to differentiate between NAHREP and some of the other wonderful associations is that NAHREP's focus is on the business professional, whereas some of these other ones are focused on the community. Both are important. The difference just being that NAHREP's position is that if we focus on becoming better professionals, we then turn around and help our community better. So.
Julie, so one of the things that I found to be the most impactful about NAHREP was the NAHREP 10 obviously really stood out for me. We actually have the NAHREP 10 back on our resource counter back here. And for any professional, regardless of your demographic, the NAHREP 10 identifies activities and benchmarks in your life and your business. What did you see about your involvement, Jaleesa, with NAHREP that has changed your life?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to credit NAHREP actually for a lot of what my business is now. I would not have met Isaac, my business partner, if it weren't for NAHREP. I also feel like I'm grateful to NAHREP for changing a lot of my mentality around money. It's very aligned with a lot of what KW talks about, but also these business cases for aligning what's right with also what makes sense. And I think that makes it easier for anybody to run a good, solid business when you've got both ends of information. It makes it a lot easier to have conversations when you know that what you're talking about is factual. And so those resources, the connections that I've made over the last 4 to 5 years that I've been part of NAHREP have been, I can't even put a number on how great it's been for me. So.
For agents that are looking to get involved, what is the easiest way for them to get involved?
Well, we do have an event coming up next week. So I would encourage you to register for that. It'll be right there at home at Roseville next Wednesday.
Right here.
Right there.
Right
No
here.
excuses. I do encourage you to become a member because it is free for members. It includes a free breakfast. The topic is, I want to say exactly what it is because I liked the way that from coverage to closing. So the topic is going to be talking about some of the changes we've been seeing in insurance coverage, and then also talking about some of the different considerations when it comes to lending. So just, over time things change. So both topics are going to be really good, really informational. Also, if you're just interested in being involved in NARP at all, please reach out to me. We've got really great committees. If you really want to start getting involved, we're always looking for help. We also have a national event coming up in March. It is the conference in DC. If you're interested in more information on that, I'm happy to share it. And if you're not able to make it there in April, we'll be having a business rally here with NAREP, basically bringing home some of the information that we'll be covering in DC. But this DC conference talks a lot about the policy, what impacts NAREP is having in public policy, and then also the revelation of the newest report that we have coming out for 2025.
That is awesome. And Julie, so what have you in your participation in you've obviously seen that through participation, there's a huge opportunity for growth. You've seen it in yourself and some of your business partners as well. What do you think is something you could share with our agents today and that you've learned from NAREP in terms of your own personal growth or your business growth?
Goodness gracious.
There were no questions on this. She's shooting from the hip, so.
I gotta say the leadership opportunity is fantastic. I joined NAREP as what I would consider myself a newer agent and definitely lacking confidence. And from joining a committee and really just doing some work and volunteering my time on something that mattered to me to now feeling like I'm in a position where I get to help some of the other directors in these positions take ownership of their roles and their leadership has been a super cool transition for me. I'm still learning, but I'm learning on the job, which has been really awesome. So if you're looking for those kinds of growth and leadership opportunities, they definitely exist. National is very supportive of that. There's so many opportunities, between the DC conference, we have another conference in San Diego. There are regional events that are even a little more give you a little bit more of a direct line to the leadership at National. And all of those are really great opportunities to see where you can grow and further yourself personally and professionally.
Really awesome. Any questions for anybody in here? Go ahead. What are some of the committees, what are some of the committees that you guys have?
Yes, we have an events committee. We have a membership committee. We have a sponsorship committee. I'd say those are kind of our three main pillars. And if you're interested in that, I can send you a link to it's a very short form, but they all kind of cater to developing different skills. So if you're looking to kind of build that muscle on how to have conversations with sponsors, that sponsorship committee is fantastic. If you're looking for a great networking opportunity just to meet other business professionals, membership is a fantastic position. Events, if you like throwing events and you want to build that muscle so that you can do that in your own business, that's a great committee to be a part of too.
That's very cool. I think participation obviously is paramount when you're talking about these things. You're learning from other professionals, right? You're learning from people who are there together to have a conversation about what they're doing. And that was the thing that I think I found the most exciting was my first NAREP event after we got back together after COVID was just the energy, right? The willingness and arguably, or probably the most important part is that it wasn't the same conversation a lot of our association often have, right? This was a very empowering conversation, even to somebody who wasn't Latino, right, is coming into here. I learned a lot about and continue to learn a lot about working with this community and opportunities that I can have to actually improve the relationships that we have. And so that's what I found the most exciting about what I do, is it gave me more opportunity, more conversation, more ability to relate, and then also to help find people in that community that could actually help that person, right? That could go the next step. And I don't think that there are a whole lot of organizations right now that are having that deep of an impact on a consistent basis. I won't ask you, Jaleesa, because we'll ask our numbers guy here, about how much, what is the percentage of Hispanic home ownership here in the Twin Cities, Isaac?
Oh, gosh, I don't have the Twin Cities number. I know that,
It's okay, I asked Isaac, I would throw Isaac on the spot, so it's 54%.
thank goodness gracious.
No, I was gonna throw our numbers guy on that one. No, so Jaleesa, I guess I'll ask this, I mean, if you were to, if your 30-second speech to, a 30-second elevator speech to someone in the room, what would that look like? What would you tell them about why you get involved?
I would say there's three pillars that if you fall into any of these categories, then this is the group for you to be a part of. If you are looking to connect with other industry professionals who want to be the top of their game and who are open and who see the value in collaboration over competition, these are your people. If you are looking for a resource to further yourself from an education standpoint, if you're looking for resources to better yourself both personally and professionally, these are your people. And if building a business on both what makes sense from a business perspective, but also from a what I would consider what's good for the world perspective, then these are your people.
That's awesome, Jaleesa. Any questions for Jaleesa? All right, Jaleesa, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm grateful that you are the 2025 NAHREP president. We're grateful to have you in our market as well, and to be able to be in business with you and your business partners is incredible. So thank you so much for sharing today. I appreciate that.
Feelings mutual. Thanks, you guys. Hope to see you next week.
Awesome. So what do I got up next? All right, so this is where you guys get me for 40 minutes. Grant almost got sick. We're not gonna, Emmy, did you say 35? All right, so obviously you guys, we know we originally had a guest, another guest speaker today, Rick Rubin. He'll be in the Market Center. He's one of Gary's top 50. And next week, he will be on the, think like a CEO call, or is it the MREA call? MREA call. How many of you listened with any consistency to the MREA call? Okay, I know that. You want to know why? Because I also get a report that tells me that you guys don't tune in. Well, no, I won't beat you up. Here's what I would say. What are you listening to? What are you putting in your head? You don't have to answer because I'm not answering. I'm asking, do you spend time when you're on your way in the morning, or you listen to the radio? That's okay too, right? You know, don't they have that show War of the Roses or some ridiculousness? You could do that, or obviously Forrest has been listening. One of the other things that I'm seeing is that each week when we have this MREA conversation, the people that are on that MREA conversation are pouring into you guys wholeheartedly. They're giving away their business idea. And if you're wondering each week, how can you have a winner's mindset? How can I have the same kind of mindset that's performing with a team that is going to do 60, 100, 200, 400 units? Do you have that mentality yourself? Do you? Do you have that mentality? Do you think you can do 300 transactions?
I can all alone, just like.
I knew you could. See? You guys, I think sometimes we get lost in the minutia of what our own stuff looks like, right? I can't do that because I've got this, and I can't do that because I can't do, I don't have the money for that. And then I listen to these podcasts every single week on my way in or on my way home, and I'm inspired by the fact that these people aren't necessarily people, they're not unicorns, right? They're people who took an idea and went, I can do that. And now they're saying, hey, I not only can do this, but I can share with you how to do it. So Rick Rubin, who will be in our market center at some point in the future, once he's back on the, once he's back and healthy, he'll come back and he's going to help us out. How do you get into Gary's top 50? Does anybody have an idea? You have to sell a lot of homes. This isn't the top 500. This isn't the top agent. These are the top 50 agents that he gets to participate in. We're lucky to have him in. He's a part of our region, and he'll be here in a few weeks. In preparation that, you can also look for his book, The Attraction Agent. He wrote a book about how to be an agent who is attracting more opportunities to him. Much like, think about the idea of somebody with, their hands out, right? Their arms out. They're just trying to attract more opportunities. That's it. Rubin, R-U-B-I-N. So like Rick Rubin, who's a music producer, some very iconic music. Not Rick Rubin, it's Rick Rubin. I had a problem with that for a while. I typed it in wrong. One of the things that I have some notes, you guys, that just came up in some questions as we're now into the second week of December, February. We're in February, guys. This is the moment where most of us start to break away from our plan, right? This is the moment where a lot of us go, well, I started out the year thinking it was going to be a great year, and I didn't get my 2 sales, so now I'm not sure I can do 24 this year. How many of you right now feel like you still feel like you're ramping up for the year, right? Okay. How many of you feel like you're in stride? Okay. Right. We got some in stride that are finding that, right? So the question then becomes this: how do you maintain that stride? How do you maintain this now? A lot of people are starting to back away from their commitments. They're backing away from what they were going to do. Let's address that first. Why are they backing away from it? And if you're one of those people, I won't say it's you, but why is it that people are backing away from their goals right now? That they're changing their goals?
Not finding success.
There you go. Right? You started at the beginning of the year, you said, I'm gonna do this, and now you are 12 and a couple of days, a week or two in, and you're going, I don't think I can do that anymore. Is that a good model for your business to run off of? Not, right? It's not. And one of the things that I saw in here were a number of agents that moved over they had plans that came into the year, and they moved those plans over. And I would argue that most of them, in fact, all the ones on my sheet right now, are people who they just quit too soon, right? You can't expect for me to look like Grant if I go to the gym once, right? You guys can laugh at that, it's okay. Right? I also can't quit after going to because I still don't look like Grant. Or a month, or a quarter. So how do you judge whether or not something is working and you should quit it? How do you legitimately judge whether or not an activity in your business is working before you quit it? Benchmarks. So I'll go back to this because I've done it the last couple of weeks, but I go back to this and this is simple. And it took me a long time, probably 12 years, to admit this to myself, right? But the reality is, your GPS. Oftentimes, you guys, and I've said this in here before, I've talked about the book 3 Feet from Gold. How a guy poured everything in his world into this gold mine, and he kept digging, he kept digging, he kept digging, he kept digging, and eventually he said, I'm done digging. He sold the mine for pennies on the dollar, and within a day, a week, a month, but a very quick period of time, the person who bought it in 3 feet from where that person stopped digging, they found gold, right? So the reality is that the gentleman who bought who had this vision, he had all the passion for it, right? He, just like you guys, he loved what he was doing. He loved the opportunity. He loved it. He never took a step back to say, is this sustainable? So he went real hard, real fast, and then stopped, right? His sustainability stopped because he was experiencing no success and his motivation waned. And then he just decided to change it. Here's my point, you guys. If you're going to set a goal for the year, if you're going to set a goal, set it for a year, right? Here's your annual goal, right? Let's just say it's 25 closed transactions, right? Your priorities shouldn't be something that you're switching more than maybe once a year, right? Your priorities themselves are good as long as you're doing the activities that come with our strategies, right? But sometimes what we have a tendency to do is we start by changing this because we think, oh Lord, I'm not going to be able to do that this year. Do you believe if you set your goal of 25 and you haven't closed the deal yet this year, do you believe you can close 25 this year? Louder?
Yes.
Yes, right? In order to do that though, you need to be on your shit, legitimate. This is where we get lost. Oh, it's cold out, or oh, people don't want to talk to me. Oh, wait, now it's the end of February and I'm 2/10 of the way through the year, so, or 2/12 into the year, so maybe I should change this goal. Don't change that goal. Don't change the goal. Only change your habits. Change the things that you're gonna do in your life. So your priorities, your 3 priorities, should also have staying power in your business. They're not something that you should turn around next week and say, okay, I'm gonna pivot. If you said, Nick, I'm gonna door knock, I'm gonna do open houses, and I'm gonna do seminars. Why are you not door knocking today? Because it's cold, right? So door knocking for us as a part of a pillar of our business, right? As a part of this, could you make the claim in your mind, well, I'm not gonna do door knocking? Could you make that claim? Sure, you could. And you should maybe. It probably isn't advisable that you go out today and spend 4 hours door knocking. They do let you into their houses, right? Let them make them feel bad for me, and then you want to come in? Yes. You want to sign my listing document now or later? Right. Somebody might want to buy this. My point is that if door knocking is your deal, let's think of other things that in the interim of it being cold out, let's find something to do, but you're not changing that goal, right? You're going to do open houses. Somebody in here tell me that open houses don't work. Please do. Tell me.
Say, will you yell at me? They don't work. What do you?
Well, I like talking about it. Right. If you've chosen as a pillar of your business open houses, you got to do some open houses, right? And you can't do 1, you can't do 3, you can't do 6 and come back and say they don't work yet. Because you probably, more than likely, haven't done them the way that you should. We have hope for that. Now, the other thing is true, is you also can say, I don't want to do that, right? This is just what this person chose as a part of their GPS. And then seminars, right? I had somebody say, well, seminars, and nobody showed up to my seminar. When did you have it? Well, it wasn't really a seminar. It was like, you didn't throw a seminar, right? You had an idea, and then you had a couple of people together and you had a conversation. These are things that are working right now in our business. Right now in this market center, there are people who are succeeding with open houses. You see how I skipped that right now? Who are succeeding with seminars, right? The key that I want you guys to know is if you're doing it and it feels like it's not working, adjust the strategy, right? What are my strategies that I'm going to change? So if door knocking is a pillar of my business this year, and I know that going out right now is not going to be as fruitful or as enjoyable for me, what am I going to do for the next 30 days to still attack door knocking as a strategy? So what would you do? Give me some ideas. Sure. That's true. We're not making fun of people that have strokes, just in case, but yeah, that felt like a stroke. So what I asked though is, what would you do in lieu of? Because right now it is cold and online. Where would you do that? You could go into Facebook, right? You could go into instant messages, right? Direct mailers. And I'm not talking about a huge postcard. I'm talking about legitimate direct mailers. Some people might call them the golden letter. Anybody using a golden letter right now? Forrest is using a gold letter. How's it working?
Gotten a couple calls.
How many have you sent out?
My wife has sent out a couple hundred.
Your leverage, right? Sent out a couple, and you've gotten some calls from them, right? It's the same door knocking to some degree, less face to face, but you're still offering them something, right? So, well, Forrest isn't out door knocking right now with any consistency in his farm market because it is full. He's still actively in front of those people with some consistency, right? If open houses, if you're struggling with open houses, if you're struggling with open houses, sometimes I don't want to be full of shit, right? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes when the number looks like it's a 3-to-1 and you threw 6 open houses and nobody showed up, but you did an open house I got Rico to do an open house, and what happened in that open house? You got a buyer, did you close on that buyer? That's weird. So my point is, you guys, it's not always going to work every time, but it is going to work over time, right? The consistency of it. So switching open houses might be switching an area. For those of you that are members of NAHREP and speak Spanish, I would be focused on Hispanic buyers that don't feel comfortable coming into an open house a week. So I would get open house signs that said, what would that be in Spanish? Open house.
Peter's plugging, he was sending.
You guys could, you know, comments here. So how do you say open house in Spanish? Abierta. See, so what about having that? So, because here's the thing, guys, the people that want to come in these houses, they want to come into the houses. They do. Sometimes they just don't know what they're going to get when they get there. If they don't speak English as a first language, they probably feel wildly uncomfortable coming and seeing, right? But they don't feel uncomfortable coming into you. And if you're inviting them in by having a sign that says open house in Spanish, I'm not going to try. I'm going to butcher it if I did, but that's my point, is that there's a pivot here in strategy. You're not changing the goal, right? The goals stay the same. The priorities of getting that goal are the same. The strategy shift, right? So with seminars, how many of you are doing seminars? 1, 2, 3, we got a few. What does the focus of those seminars look like? And have you been happy with the outcome of them? The tournament. Go ahead, Eugene.
In the beginning, when I started real estate, I started teaching right away. And a lot of my business was from the seminars because they focus on how to do business and teaching them the courses give you a lot of ability, and people, if they like it the way that you teach, they call you.
It's less, forgive me, because I know that we're in sales, but it's less salesy, right? It feels less salesy. It feels like I'm providing something of value. Go ahead, Amy.
DJ loves to teach.
Yeah.
She loves it. It makes her happy. She's not doing things that make her want to grow up. She's doing things that she's naturally passionate.
That's a really great point, is the things that we suggest don't always fit the way that we suggest, right? It's finding how you can make that your own, because we know that the activities work over time, right? And we know also that you might not want to door knock. So in lieu of that, you're creating another pillar in your business that is still about engagement, is still about advocacy, is still about sales, but it's more passive than that going on. Go ahead.
If I can say something, if you want to do it, I recommend it to take the course first. Go and sign. There is PRG, there is a lot of nonprofit organizations who teach those classes. Sign for one and take a look, and whatever you don't like it, do it better. And just try to create your own way to teach. And those nonprofit give you the opportunity to teach if you want to. You just need to be online. You just need to be in the waiting list and all that stuff. But I recommended to take it at least twice. I took it 4 times in English and Spanish until I get the idea how I want those to be teaching. So I encourage to do it because it's a good way. You know, a lot of people know it.
Yeah, actually, you and I had, Drake was in here last week from Cappy, and he'll be back in here in a couple of weeks, helping us understand how we can have some of the first-time homebuyer conversation and helping you understand what the process of that program is, of what we're telling people, so that you can be better at also having that conversation, right? So yeah, Drake will be back here in a couple of weeks. He was Cappy is an organization. She's also going to be teaching some agent safety stuff in here as well. So that's a good thing to be able to talk about. When you guys are looking at the rest of your year right now, how many of you feel like you're on pace for your goal? Okay. How many of you feel like you don't know what your goal is yet? You'd have to raise your hand. I appreciate that you said it. I appreciate that. Because sometimes it's hard to say, hey, I know I'm here, I know I show up every day, but I'm really not sure what I'm focused on. Don't hesitate to come into my office. Don't hesitate to reach out to one of our ALC members or our coach Alan. If you're like, I just don't know what the hell I'm doing and I need focus on that. We're here to help you understand where you're going to be successful. I'd also talk to you about your funnel. And I've talked a lot about this year, is identifying where your inputs are, right? What your activities are and what the output is. If you want to have that conversation too, it's a really easy conversation for me to say, hey, here are your inputs of your business, which essentially follows your GPS anyways, right? So there are your inputs that you're going to do here. Here are the activities you're going to commit to, which is essentially just your strategies. And then really more than anything, it's a follow-up, right? We're going to hold you accountable for what that looked like so that we can go over the conversation. Last but not least, one of the questions that I had earlier this week from an agent that was not with us, but I thought it was a great question. And this agent is an agent who pretty consistently has done something between $3 to $4 million, even in the last couple of years. The agent said, I'm really struggling to figure out how to move from that 3 or 4 million, which is very stressful. $3 or $4 million is a great business, but it's not quite getting over the hump, right? I mean, at 3 million, you're at about 90 before expenses. At 4 million, you're at 120 before expenses. After you pay your expenses, after you pay your taxes, it's not as much as it used to be, right? And so when we're looking at this, overcoming that part of your business, how do you think you're going to overcome wherever you are today? Let's say it's even at 5 or 6 million, which is still great. It's probably stressful for you. How do you get to that consistency of 120 plus in GPI a year? What are you doing in your business? If you're not there today, what are you doing in your business to guarantee that you can get 12 to 15 sales every single year, plus whatever the icing comes in, right? Whatever the additional is, what are you doing to consistently do that? If you consistently perform at 15 deals a year, what echelon of the real estate industry are you in? The top 5% of all producers at 15 transactions a year. That's stupid crazy. So what would it mean? Why would it mean that most agents aren't hitting? What is the reason that most agents aren't hitting that goal? Activities. Their activities. What about their activities? Consistency, right? Focus. Having a model that was created for them and that works, right? Being able to use that as a benchmark to determine whether or not those activities are working, to work their GPS. What else is not? What else is keeping agents from succeeding? Mindset. Right? Goal set. What'd you say? Skill set, right?
Discipline.
Discipline. None of you said more leads. None of you said more leads. And I'm not saying you need more leads. I'm saying what you said is true. The entirety of your business, right, is based on your activity and your commitment to that activity. How many of us, you don't have to say, I'll use me. How many of you quit on yourself before? I am, right? How many of you had a referral come through and you didn't call on the referral? I've done it, right? The self-sabotage that we create, right, is those moments where we know we should be doing something that we're not doing it. I implore you, find what that reasoning is so that you can overcome that. Be a lead receiver, a lead creator, right? Be out in front of this conversation. You should not, under any circumstances, leave, if you're here every week and I look into your eyes, every single week you show up here, there's no reason why you're not thriving. You're in the building, the people are here. The people that are succeeding are talking to you every week. The rookie of the year is in the house, right? The realtor of the year for St. Paul, Minneapolis is in this building, right? We have some experience in the building that has been here for 20 years or more, right? That's you, Peter, right? So these are people that have consistently over their career found success. If you're not finding success right now, it's on you. It's on you. It's not on the brokerage. It's not on the industry. It's not on the market. Now, the market has an impact on it. I can't deny that. Right? But we wouldn't see the success we see from certain agents if that was entirely the story. Right? That's not entirely the story. So whatever story you tell yourself when you get out of bed this morning, it's hard, it's tough, I don't want to go, it's cold. That's your story for the day, right? But if your story is, listen, I know that Hillers had one of their best years last year, right? You had a great year last year, right? In a market where it was a tough market, you also had some things that you were doing, right? That took you out of your day-to-day business. But you still were able to achieve at a high level because of the consistencies you put in place, because of the leverage, and because you talk about where your goals are. You talk about what we're doing. I implore you guys to not take the easy route this year. And it isn't for me. It's because I get so sad every time I meet with people that are saying, Nick, I don't know what to do. I can't do this. I can't pay this. I can't be a part of this. I think I need to get a real job as though what we do here isn't real. It is. It just doesn't feel real because you don't have a boss. Be your boss. Do your activities. Stay consistent. And if you're having trouble, find somebody here that can help you. The best coach, in my opinion, for this is an accountability partner, right? I have a coach that can help you understand how the documents work or how to negotiate better. I have a great coach that can help navigate that first year in business. But ultimately, what he ends up doing a lot of the time is helping people understand how to continue to move forward, take the next step, do the activities, right? Sometimes you need somebody in your life that's a little bit more rigid, right? I mean, when people train with you for fitness, I'm guessing that you're pretty specific about their program, about what they lift, about what they eat, when they eat, how much water they take in. And people that do that, do they experience success?
Yeah.
Don't quit on yourself this year. Don't quit on your goals. Don't quit on the things you've committed to here, on the priorities. If you need to change your strategy because something doesn't seem to be working, reach out to me, reach out to Alec, reach out to Rachel, reach out to one of your ALC members, reach out to our broker. My baby. We're all here for your growth, but here's the thing, I'm gonna hold your ass accountable for it. Because if you fail, but you told me what your goal was, and you still failed, then I kind of failed too, didn't I? And I don't want to fail this year. So I'm going to give you back 15 minutes of your time to go and make a call. Talk to somebody. Dead ass, don't leave here and not call somebody. Make a phone call, connect with somebody, and what are you going to ask them? What are you going to ask them? Who said that? Oh, who said that in the back? Hey, my name is Nick Dreher. How you doing? That's awesome. Hey, what's the real estate market? Oh, it's great. Everybody's buying right now. You should be buying too. That's not what we're saying. You should be having that company. How are you? How's life? How's the kids? How's that school? How was that vacation? And then eventually they're gonna ask something and you're gonna go, you know what, before we hang up today, I just need one favor. Stella, if you knew anybody that was looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, would I be a choice that you'd be considering to refer them to? I would be, Stella, that's awesome. If I send you some cards, would you be willing just to have those and hand those out? Because I know you're gonna carry them around in your purse and get money. Don't ask that, because I don't do that. But I appreciate that. The one thing that we need to remember, we can be a resource all day long, but we need to get to that one point where we're asking for the opportunity to serve them. If you're not asking, they will often assume you are too busy for them. They'll often assume, well, I didn't know you wanted one business. Not that they didn't think you, that they just didn't think that you were ready for their business. You were intentional. So have great advocate conversations, have great relationships. But if I don't ask you whether or not you need some help buying, or if you know somebody who does, sometimes it might get lost. So now you have 13 minutes, go have a kick-ass day, go help somebody, go save somebody. There are bags in the back, y'all.